Hey guys, we're back. It is the middle of June. We are in the Isaac Smith Vineyard in the Merlot block. I'm here to talk to you about a process called bloom, which all these vines are currently going through. Bloom is a process of self-fertilization. It occurs in late spring to early summer. Right now, like I said, it was in the middle of June, so everything here is finishing up bloom. There's little flowers on each of these vines and each of these clusters. The flowers will self-pollinate each berry, and then each berry will begin the process of growing, which is called fruit set. The last time you've seen these vines, they were in the end of bud break, and now they are fully formed and going into a full canopy. The leaves on these vines are thickening and become callous. They're constantly pulling nutrients and water from the ground for continuous growth. So all these shoots are vertically positioned within our trellis, which are these wires that you see. And right now, this is what bloom is. So it was a Merlot vine. These vines are all going through bloom. And what happens is they will sprout these little flowers around each individual berry. And the little flowers will try and pollinate each individual berry. And so after that, it will become fruit set. However, this is the most critical time in a grapevine's yearly life cycle. So we like to have a little bit of breeze to get those pollinators moving a little bit, but we don't want too much wind. We want a lot of sun. We don't want any rain. We don't want too much overcast, just so that those flowers successfully pollinate. We see bloom occurring in our early ripening varietals like Chardonnay and Pinot Noir, usually around the end of May, but some varietals like Cabernet Sauvignon, Merlot, and some other whites might bloom, towards the first week of June. We monitor bloom through our different vineyard blocks just by going through the rows, looking at it to see if the flowers are present, to see if the berries have grown in size, to see if the caps on all of the flowers are off, and see everything's healthy. Some risks or challenges for bloom are all inherent on the weather. That's mainly our biggest conflict, but in Cape May County, you could have beautiful weather one week, and then the next week it's gonna be rainy and cold. So right now we're just hoping for very beautiful, mild, hot weather to successfully have these flowers go through bloom. A day like today, sunny, beautiful, a little bit of a breeze, they're living. You can determine if there's a successful pollination just by the progression of the size of each individual berry. So 1 week, it'll finish bloom, and if you see the berry become a little bit larger, you know that it's on its way to ripening. A couple factors can cause poor fruit set or shatter. The rain being one of them, a damp canopy. If it's too dense and you have a rain event and there's not a lot of drainage through the canopy and all the water gets all caught up in there, then that could cause shatter. Or just poor soil health, poor nutrient uptake from the vines will inhibit them from being healthy and successful through pollination. Certain vineyard practices that would improve fruit set is really monitoring your soil health, making sure that each vine is uptaking nutrients successfully, as well as keeping the canopy a little bit open and breezy so that the wind can pass through, but also that the water can pass underneath and go through the canopy and not be caught up on the flowers. So the next big event for us as grape growers is going to be berry development. When you see each cluster starting to fully form the individual berries in the canopy, we might be doing a green harvest, which is for our red varietals, which we will actually remove certain clusters on the vine itself so that we can fully ripen them a little bit better incrementally. We are at the vineyard at our winery. More specifically, this is going to be our deck Chardonnay in our Chardonnay block. All these Chardonnay vines in this particular block are going through fruit set. They've passed bloom. The way we can tell that is that the individual berries are growing larger in size. The cluster is getting bigger, and you won't see those little flowers anymore. They naturally just fall off. We were just in the Merlot, and that was going through bloom. But the reason why this is finishing up is because this is a naturally earlier ripening varietal. So this will have bud break sooner than other varietals, and it will have fruit set sooner, and so naturally it'll be picked sooner than everything else. So that's why this is a little more far along than other varietals. Right here we have pretty much the end of bloom into fruit set. The berry size is getting larger. This cluster is starting to fill out. You see there's different sized berries growing. That indicates a successful pollination and a higher yield for us. I'm clipping these shoots right now so that they're forced to grow straight up in the air. So they're not growing sideways, they're not growing into each other, clogging up the canopy. That will create for a more dense canopy and make the mold and mildew that grows in here happier, which we don't like. So I just want to make sure everything's growing nice and straight, separating the shoots. So when we come back and we hedge, we give these vines a haircut, take off the top of the canopy. We can hit every single shoot. This little section right here is pretty much perfect. In about a month, we'll start taking off some leaves to get some more sunshine on the clusters and get them growing how we want, and nice and clean and beauty.